All right, this is Sports Dummies Podcast. Sorry, it's been a while. I don't have my buddy Vinny today. It's probably a good thing though, just because he's a dummy. So we don't. You know what? And he'll listen to this, and he understands what his role here is at the Sports Dummies Podcast. Just because he doesn't know shit about tennis. First of all. You can tell him who Andre Agassi is. He's like, who's that? So I'd just rather not have him on the show today. So today though, it's the U.S. Open in about a day, starting tomorrow. So I'm very excited for what we got going on. Should be an exciting 2 weeks. Serena Williams has a very, very, very tough draw, but I'm not really. I got my tennis analyst today. I got my man Joe Carey. What's going on, my friend?
How you doing? All right.
I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
Hey, living the dream.
Yeah, living the dream, dude. We're going to the Open in a week, dude.
Hell yeah.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah. Really
the new Louis Armstrong Stadium.
Oh, can't wait, man. I've never been, so
this is the
should be exciting.
50th anniversary, right?
Of Armstrong?
Of the Open.
No, the Open's been around forever, man.
They said something about the 50th anniversary. Am I bugging?
Maybe, yeah. The U.S. Open's been around for a long time.
Okay, they said something about the 50th anniversary, but they're just opening up the Louis Armstrong Stadium, right?
No, Armstrong's been around for a while too.
What are they doing? Was it renovated?
Yes.
Okay.
They did have some renovations.
So they have renovations.
But Armstrong has been around for a while.
We'll be able to get in there, right?
Oh yeah, everywhere but Ash. That's where our ticket.
Yeah, we're not rich. We're not six-figure guys. We're not Adam Silver. We don't got big ears. Our ears aren't big enough. Shout out to Adam Silver though. He terrible commish, but
the worst.
Thank God he's not a commissioner of tennis.
Oh man, the worst.
Yeah, the worst. But so U.S. Open coming up here, man. What are your thoughts though coming up here? Overall thoughts. How you feeling?
Oh man, it's exciting. Both draws are really exciting. You could at top quarter of the women's. Yeah, you got Simona Halep, you got Venus and Serena. Serena and Venus on track for a third round matchup. That's the earliest in a major in a long time. Potentially, obviously, they both got to win too. Mm-hmm. And then, that's Serena's got potentially Camila Giorgi was a quarterfinalist at Wimbledon, and there's a potential third round for Serena, or it could be Venus. Serena's got a tough draw, man. She's got Halep in the fourth.
And her sister.
Right, her sister's there. Sloane Stephens in the quarters.
Yes. And Sloane's looking to defend the title.
Sure. I'm sorry, Sloane Stephens would be in the semis, but...
still.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough draw. She can't, I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
I mean, is Stephens and Halep kind of becoming a rivalry right here?
I hope so.
Because it seems like Sloane said she's looking to go for it.
Yeah,
she said that past couple of days. She said, I'm looking to get my revenge. So
yeah, Sloane wants it, and they're both fiery too. That's the best part about them. That'd be a good rivalry because obviously you got to respect Rafa and Roger, but they're both kind of laid back, and the rivalry isn't
where it was
fiery. It's not, they're not angry. They don't.
Right. It's not.
They don't get fired up on the court.
It's not McEnroe and.
Right. You don't got Johnny Mack and Jimmy Connors or anything. So I'd like to see that with Halep and Sloane because they can be that way. They can put the emotion is there too. It's not just the talent level, but they've had some good matches.
They've had great matches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I feel like women's tennis kind of needs that.
Yeah.
That rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, what was the last big one?
Serena and Venus, and even then it was
Was it really a? I mean, it was a rivalry.
You know what?
But
Serena had a pretty brief rival with Vika Azarenka there for a little bit, and that was fun because they can both get emotional too. But then Vika, obviously had to leave because she had a kid and stuff, and she's still working her way back. But and she had some other stuff going on, but. That was fun for a little while, but I would like to see Halep and Stephens really, turn it up a notch and become,
Yeah, that would be great, dude. Because Simona as fire as she is, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would love something like that.
Yeah.
Who's her coach? Darren Cahill.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, one of the was it Western or Southern Open? I think it was that, or what was the one before that?
Rogers.
Rogers Cup, right?
In Toronto.
Yeah, but they had Cahill mic'd up when he came out to talk there, and Halep was winning. This is against Stephens,
and
she was winning. It was a good match, but she was winning, clearly, convincingly at that point. And Cahill's like, giving her like, some positive energy, telling her good stuff, and Hallep's just like, the forehand's just been a disaster. Everything's just been a disaster. But it's like, you're winning.
Right.
So what? And I understand you're hard on yourself, especially tennis players.
Sure.
Going into these as many tournaments as they play a year. I mean, they're all perfectionists, man. It's
the
hard
thing with tennis is part of the reason why I love it. It's all on you. You know what I mean? When you're out there, obviously if you're playing doubles, it's a little different. But if you're playing a singles match, it's you. You know what I mean? You don't have teammates.
It's nobody else.
You can't really talk to your coach like that. It's just you. You know what I mean? You got to get out of your own head. You got to.
Right.
That's
why these guys be talking to themselves all freaking match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. They have no one else out there.
Literally, no. I mean, they see their coach and they talk to him, but the coach isn't allowed to.
Yeah, you're not really allowed to get coaching like that.
Right.
So, it's good, especially Simona and Sloane though. For real, I hope that turns into like a big.
It would be great, dude, because Sloane's really come along here. She's defending her title. Right. What would it take for her to really defend that title? Yeah.
She can do it. She's got potentially Azarenka, who we talked about a little bit. I think that's round 3, and then but other than that, she's got. Svitolina's a fine player, but I don't think if they get to the quarters there, I don't think Sloane has too much trouble with her. To me, she can get to the semis easy, and then it's the semifinal matchup that's either Serena, Simona, Venus maybe. Muguruza's in that part of the draw. So the semifinal matchup will be probably her toughest test, and then because even the other half of the bracket, it's very top heavy in terms of the top half of the bracket is loaded.
Very loaded. Yeah.
Right. Specifically that first quarter, because it's got Simona, Serena, Venus, Muguruza. It's just a loaded half of
very loaded
quarter. Pliskova is up there. That's a loaded quarter. And then Sloane has to play the winner of that quarter in the semis. But down on the other half, I don't see her. She can win, but it's that semifinal matchup I think that's gonna
give her a good
that's
test.
Where that's the most trouble that I can see in her path is that semifinal matchup. So whoever that ends up being, and that could be anyone. I don't know.
Okay, so is there anything she specifically needs to do, like with her game, to really? Like whoever she faces it down, those down the road in the quarterfinals, semifinals, like anything that you see in her game where it's like, oh, I really could see her, having trouble. Like, what does she need to? Anything she needs to work on right now?
I don't think so. She's playing good tennis. She's having a great year. She's up to 3 in the world.
Yeah.
And obviously Hallep's giving her some trouble.
Obviously, which is okay. When you're the number one
player in the world. So, and Serena could give her trouble too. Serena gives everyone trouble. She's the best ever. So, it's just she's just got to play her game. She can beat Serena. She's done it before. She beat her in her first semifinal was in Australia. Her first major semi was in Australia a few years ago, and she beat Serena to get there. She can beat Halep. I think the talent level there. It's kind of a roadblock. Obviously, it's been this year for her, but she's just as talented, if not more, than Halep to me. So it's just she's just got to play her game, and make her shots.
What's the Wimbledon chances here, Kerber? Well, how do you feel about Angelique Kerber? Let me ask you that first.
Well, I like Kerber. I do. She's kind of.
Did she get the best
defensively?
Did she get the best Serena? Because I think that the answer is no. Right? You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Obviously, on top of her game, Serena's going to beat Kerber.
Sure. You
know what I mean?
And that's not a knock on Kerber, but Serena's the best player of all time. So, and Kerber's fine. I like her. She's a very talented player. She's kind of a defender. She doesn't have a heavy hit. She just kind of. She's like a brick wall, She's a really good defender, really good returner, and she plays her game. She's smart, She plays good tennis. That's why she gives people like Maddie Keys trouble. Maddie Keys, great player.
In the finals last year, I believe, right? Against Sloane.
Against Sloane, sure. Right. And Sloane Stephens is similar in some ways to Kerber. Maddie Keys has trouble with players like that where she'll waltz through 3 or 4 rounds in a major, no problem. But when she runs into someone that defends as well as Sloane Stephens or as Angie Kerber, it's kind of, that's where she runs into most of her trouble. She hasn't figured out how to beat that kind of player yet. And Sloane kind of spanked her in the final last year. It wasn't, well, I think it was 3 and love, 6-3, 6-love, and she just can't. But having said that, Maddie Keys did beat Kerber recently on a hard court, so I thought that was a really big win for her because, like I said, she struggles with that type of player.
That's good for her confidence,
right? It's really good for her confidence, and it's good to see her do that. And Kerber's fine. I mean, I don't know. I like the bottom half of that draw. I kind of like Kvitova, although she's hit or miss in majors.
I don't know if you watched the Connecticut Open yesterday. It was Suarez Navarro, and I forget what her name is. The girl she was facing, she's really young. She's up and coming. They're saying she's going to be a star. I forget her name. Yeah. It's real long. She must be at the Open, but it's real good. I can't remember her name. It'll probably come back to me at some point. But is it? It's not Sevas. No.
Sevastova.
I don't think so.
Ostapenko.
I don't know if she's Serbian. What is she? She just played. Was it not Kvitova? Sabalenka. Arina Sabalenka. How do you feel about her? You like her?
I don't know much about her.
Okay. She's really powerful forehand. Her game's real good. She's young.
I think, that's good. I mean, it's where the women's game is heading. I think is more towards those power players, people that can hit the ball.
Is that what the game needs?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I don't think it. It doesn't hurt. Serena and Venus kind of. That's where it started. Where they were. Obviously, some of the first real heavy hitters. Venus first, and then Serena, obviously, and then as time has gone on, you get these heavy hitters. Azarenka doesn't serve too hard, but she hits a heavy forehand, and Ostapenko won the French Open a couple years ago. She's got some heavy ground strokes. That's how people play, when you see people like Wozniacki, who's not really a heavy hitter,
right?
She struggles with players like that, and it's kind of, I guess it's good for the game. I don't know. I mean,
is it
exciting?
Are we missing that dominant? Obviously, when Serena's the best, she's the most dominant. Sure. But while she was away from the game, there wasn't really a dominant set player that was really number one for a long time. You know what I mean? It kind of
jumped
around, and different girls were winning majors. It wasn't like Fed where he was winning, one after the other, which is good and bad because I think for the game, obviously, there's always those couple players that carry tennis.
Right.
You know what I mean? So would you like to see that in women's? Would you like to see someone like Halep just win a bunch of majors, keep winning, to kind of draw that interest, or obviously, not to cut you off, but obviously, rivalries are what carry tennis. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Storylines, people want to know, Federer's going to break the record.
Rafa and Roger.
Djokovic as well.
Novak and Rafa. They play 52 times or something in their career. That's ridiculous. You never see that.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I think what the men's game has right now, or I guess more so a couple of years ago, was really good. They kind of had that big four, and then also Stan, where
Wawrinka,
you got 5 guys with 3 or more majors, and at the time, a couple of years ago, they were all right there, fighting, and it was nice to see that. The women's is a little different because to me, you have Serena, and then everybody else. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, she's not unbeatable, but when she's on, it's really hard to beat her. She's the best in the world to me by a long shot. And Halep is a fine player, great player. Wozniacki's a great player. Sloane Stephens, great player. But even now, 20-some years after she started playing, Serena to me is so good. When she's
still good.
Yeah. When she's healthy and when she's ready, she's the best in the world. She's the best player ever, and maybe men's or women's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely the most dominant.
Right.
Definitely the most dominant. It's so it's I don't know if that's good for tennis or not. It's obviously nice to have her there, especially because she's USA, and so it's good for like America, American tennis. It's good to have somebody like Serena,
right?
But for tennis as a whole, it's nice to see her vulnerable a little bit, and
to know that she can lose.
Right. It's nice to see that to me, and I don't know. Everyone
I feel like
that way, but I think it's nice to see some change, and it's nice to not just know that Serena's going to win. Do you know what I mean? Like it's nice to have that change of pace.
He could lose.
Yeah, Halep's playing really good tennis this year.
Like it was like that with Fed for a little while, wasn't it? Like the mid 2000s where he was facing guys like Roddick and like
Andy Roddick.
Roddick's a good player.
Underrated.
Not to knock Roddick because he was a good player, but Fed wasn't facing Nadal until 2008 and Djokovic until that time. So not to knock Federer because Federer is the best player of all time.
Sure.
That's what I mean. So I'm not knocking Fed, but he wasn't facing them until a little more towards his
right. So
late 2000s.
Roger, Rafa started winning Frenches in 2005. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Roger was there. That's Roger's prime, and Rafa's beating him on clay. So Rafa was there for the better part of Roger's career.
Right.
And he's always had that head-to-head. And I think that Roger's the best ever. I do.
Mm.
I think one day Rafa will be the best ever. Do you know what I mean? So, I think Rafa...
You mean like numbers-wise with majors?
Just in general. I think Rafa will eclipse him eventually. Mm-hmm. He already has more Masters 1000 series titles. He's got the head-to-head thing.
Mm.
I think he will eclipse him in majors one day.
Mm.
But right now, Roger's the best ever, and you're right. He was kind of like that in his prime from about 2005.
And not to knock, not to cut you off, but not to knock like any of the players he played against, but like Sampras had Agassi, he was facing.
Sure.
I mean, Courier, Rafter, like good players, but I mean, like he had to face Agassi at one point. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, Rod, the thing with this, I think people don't really appreciate this enough, is that right now you have 3 of the probably top 5 tennis players of all time. I mean that's
Fed, Nadal,
yeah. So
Joker.
To me, it's Federer, then it's Rafa, then Sampras, Rod Laver, and Novak Djokovic. That's your top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 3 of them
playing
that you're
right
watching
now.
Of the top 5 best ever.
Now, I don't think people understand that.
No, people don't really get that, and they don't appreciate that enough because, Novak is the best returner ever.
No question.
No question at all. Roger Federer is one of the best servers ever. It's one of the he doesn't hit it heavy, but he, in his prime, he didn't miss. You know what I mean? He was exceptional with the serve. Rafa is easily the most dominant clay court player.
Oh, no question.
No question. The dude has 2 losses at Roland Garros.
That's incredible.
And he's been playing since 2005 there. So 2 losses ever. He's got 11 titles, and he withdrew with injury once. So, and people don't appreciate that. Novak Djokovic won 4 majors in a row in from 2015 Wimbledon to 2016 French. He won 4 majors in a row. Do you know how hard that is to do?
That's incredible.
Nobody does that anymore. So
he won all 4 in a year.
No, he won 2015 Wimbledon and U.S., and then he won 16 Australia and French.
Okay, so within that span he won.
Right.
But he didn't win that whole... Has anyone ever done that? Won all 4?
Rod Laver did it a couple times. He was the last guy to do it. No, Sampras never did it. Okay. Sampras never won a French.
No, I know his first was 14. The 90 Open, right?
The U.S.
91. Open. It was he definitely his first was in the Open. I know that for a fact. And his last was the Open as well.
The Open. It was maybe his last tournament was the U.S. Open. I think
it might have been.
And he won it. But
Agassi.
There's only I think 8 guys that have won all 4 majors in the history of tennis.
Yeah, it's very hard to do.
3 of them are playing right now. You know what I mean? So Sampras was, before Fed and Rafa, the best player ever. Right. So that's people. That was the thing. He never won a French Open.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you get Rafa doing it. Rafa's got 2 of each except for the Australian. Mm-hmm. Fed has 2 of each except for the French. Fed's got 6 Australians and 8 Wimbledons. Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And 5 U.S. Opens, as a matter of fact. It's crazy. And Novak, has, except for the French, 2 or 3 of each. Like, it's absurd that, this is the best era of tennis ever. You have 3 of the top 5 players ever. And then you have Andy Murray, and you've got Stan Wawrinka.
Yeah, these are
Juan Martín Del Potro.
Yes, yes. It's got Sasha. Yeah, him coming up.
He's coming up. I'd like to see him play a little better in majors, but he just brought Ivan Lendl onto his coaching team.
Yes, I did see that.
That's who put Murray over the hump. So, maybe that'll start, that'll jump something up for Sasha. So, we'll see. I hope so. I'd like to see him play. He's clearly really talented.
Oh, very. And he's very young, right?
Yeah. He's
how old?
21, I think.
Yeah, very
something.
Early
he's
20s.
Really young. Yeah. But he just can't put it together in majors yet. And I think Lendl can help him with that.
All right, so we talked about women's. I want to talk about the men's draw. But by the way, all right, just to clarify, who do you think's going to win the women's? If you had to pick a winner.
If I had to pick a winner?
Yeah.
Yikes. That's tough.
It's very tough. There's no...
I would say whoever comes out of the top half. So I'm thinking Sloane, Serena, Simona. One of those.
Pick one.
All right. I'll say Serena.
All right, Serena.
I'll say Serena. I think, maybe she's not all the way back yet. I don't know, but it's so hard not to pick her,
Yeah.
And
is that a firm Serena pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that as a firm pick. Okay. I will. And she could lose at any stage in this. Like I said, we talked about how difficult her draw is. But she's the best ever for a reason. You know what I mean? So if anybody can get through that draw and win this title,
it's Serena.
It's Serena Williams.
Okay.
So you can.
Serena.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So onto the men's side. A lot of just because he just won the what did he win, the Western and Southern, and won Wimbledon, obviously.
Novak.
Novak. A lot of people are saying he's the favorite men's side. Do you agree?
No, I do not.
Okay. Why is that?
Because you have Rafael Nadal, and I think he's my favorite. The man's lost 3 times all year. Only once on hard court, and granted, he only played 2 hard court tournaments. He lost to Cilic in the quarters of the Australian, but that's his only hard court loss all year, and he beat Cilic on the way to the Rogers Cup title. So, he's right now he's the best player in the world. He's a number 1 ranked for a reason. And I like Novak. I know Novak beat him at Wimbledon, but that's on grass. It's never been Rafa's strong suit. Novak's a great player, and he could beat him, but he's got to go through Fed in the quarters.
That's tough. That's very tough.
And nobody wants to play Fed in the quarterfinals. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to play Fed, period. And I do think he's on the decline, Roger. Mm-hmm. But you still don't want to play him.
Still a great player, even if he's on decline.
Right.
Still.
He's the best ever for a reason. So, and he's got Sasha down there somewhere in his draw, too.
That's not an easy one.
Bottom half, yeah. And Marin Cilic is on that half of the draw. Marin Cilic has got a title here,
Good player as well.
Sure, yeah.
Very good.
There's a lot of people in that half of the draw that could easily knock you off on any given day,
Right.
And not that there isn't people that can knock Rafa off. He's got a tough potential 3rd round matchup with Karen Khachanov or whatever, and so that could be tough. Dominic Thiem's in that half, in that quarter, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Kevin Anderson is having the best year and a half of his life.
Yes.
Obviously, Delpo's up there, but I'm picking Rafa. The man's lost 3 times all year. And you're right, one of them was to Novak. People are picking him as a favorite for a reason, but I'm sticking with Rafa.
If you're just going off momentum and just what have you done for me lately? A lot of people are just saying joke.
Right, sure. But Rafa's had a great year. Mm-hmm. And there was a hell of a match at Wimbledon with him and Novak. He could have won that.
Was that the best? Nah, maybe Nadal and Del Potro was the best match at Wimbledon.
That was probably the best match.
That was the best.
Yeah.
Very good match. Very good match.
Yeah.
That was very entertaining.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
I love Del Potro. He's so good. But, I have to pick Rafa. I do, and I'm not a big Rafa guy.
Yeah, you hate Rafa.
I'm a Federer fan, so you
just don't like the way he looks. You don't like the way he looks.
I don't know. I just
his little ticks when he curls his ears.
I don't know. I think it's just mostly that I obviously respect his game. He's a great player, but I'm a Roger fan. You know what I mean? It's a big rivalry, so you only really get to pick one.
For sure.
Yeah. So, I just like Roger better, and but I do think Rafa's going to win. I think maybe he plays Novak in the final. I could see that, and I mean, hopefully that's the case because that's going to be a hell of a final if he does. But
any dark horses?
Dark horses, they're everywhere. I mean,
who's like the biggest that jumps out to you that you'd say, "Ooh, I could see him doing some damage"?
I really like Marin Cilic a lot, and I know that he's a 7 seed, so that doesn't really count as a dark horse. But he's a sleeper.
People are overlooking him, saying,
they forget that he won this title already. Yeah. He's the only guy that beat Rafa this year on hard court. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. Obviously that serve is monstrous. I think he's a sleeper, and he's in a not awful quarter. He's a 7 seed, so his top 4 seed in his quarter is Sasha, who has never made it past the quarters of a major. Right. You know what I mean? And granted, he brought Lendl on, and he's super talented and all that, but I could easily see Marin Cilic in the semifinals. If there's a guy that can beat Novak in that half of the draw, besides Roger, it's probably Marin Cilic to me. Do you know what I mean? And then he plays probably Rafa in the final, and he's got, he's the only guy that beat him this year on hard court. So, I would say Marin Cilic. I think Stan Wawrinka as well. For the second major in a row, he gets Grigor Dimitrov in the first round. So that's obviously a tough match.
That's very tough. People are picking Dimitrov to get to the quarters.
Yeah, I don't know. Dimitrov is so hit or miss. You never know with that dude, and that's part of my problem with him. I like him. I think he's very talented. This was a guy that's heralded as young Fed when he was playing, because the one-hand backhand and all this other stuff. But I don't know. He's so hit or miss, man. Obviously, really talented player. But Stan, I think, is just steady, and if he's healthy and he's fully, ready to be here at Flushing Meadows, I think he can make a run. He can beat Dimitrov. He did at Wimbledon. And he can beat Raonic, who is potential third round. He can beat
Raonic. I feel like he always loses, kind of like not early, but he never really gets. Right. What's missing with Raonic? Obviously the serve is there, but like
to me it's his head. Just like a lot of people. I think a lot of guys are having trouble. Dimitrov as well, where they're playing with this generation of people. That, like we said, 3 of the top 5 ever.
Yeah.
They're struggling to accept that, this is...
I'm not going to get where I really think I might be. You got to accept that maybe I need to really work really hard and just win one major.
Right.
Screw it. You know what I mean?
And obviously they're all talented enough to win majors, and multiple. But
Isner?
Oh, God, he drives me nuts.
Yeah.
John Isner drives me up.
I know you're an Isner fan now. You're an Isner fan, right?
Oh, he's USA. You got to root for the USA. But that's, to me, this is why he drives me nuts. That is the best serve
ever.
Yeah. Nobody serves like John Isner. Not Federer, not Sampras, nobody. That is the best serve of all time. He's been to one semifinal in a major. And I think one other quarterfinal.
Which was Wimbledon.
Yeah,
that was his shot. That was his shot.
Oh my God, he drives me nuts. He has no backhand. He can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, so let me ask you: is a serve just going to win you a Wimbledon?
No, a serve isn't going to win you anything. That's why he drives me nuts.
Because he doesn't work on his game enough.
I don't think so. Maybe I'm missing something here, but that dude, when you have the best serve of all time, you don't even need to have a good backhand, but just have a backhand. His backhand
just have a backhand.
Yeah. It drives me nuts watching him play because oh my God, he can't move.
He was close with Anderson. It was close.
Yeah, but Kevin Anderson's the same way. He just big serve. I mean, he could have beat Anderson. He should not have gone to a fifth set. He should have beat Anderson.
Yeah.
He's more talented. His serve's better.
Yeah.
Anderson's having the year and a half of his career.
Yeah.
But John Isner should be a better player than Kevin Anderson on paper. But he's not. John Isner should have majors on paper because of that serve.
He's only ever going to be known for the 2 long matches.
Yeah.
That's what he's only going to be known for.
Can't return at all. Obviously, when you have a match, it goes 80 to 78 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Nicholas Mahou.
Yeah, Mahout.
Yeah. Who's nobody, by the way. That's
where's he been at? Yeah, where's he? We don't never
career journeyman, and you take him 80, 78 or 70, 68, whatever it was. In the fifth set.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
Drives me up a wall. The dude has no backhand. He can't return. Oh my god!
All right. Speaking of that, of the long tiebreakers, do they need to get rid of it?
Absolutely.
I don't think there's been anybody that says
nobody has ever complained about losing a fifth set tiebreak at the U.S. Open. Nobody ever.
Why is that?
Because they don't care. It's a good rule. They should have a fifth set tiebreak. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should be a thing everywhere, and it's nice to see those long things. Like one of the best matches I've ever watched was Fed and Roddick at the 09 Wimbledon, and that went 16-14 in the fifth.
That was a great match.
It was a great match.
I remember
Absolutely.
that was a great match.
But
rooting for Roddick, by the way.
Of course you were. Yeah, I mean me too.
Okay.
I love Fed, but I was rooting for Roddick. You know, you couldn't not. The dude made 4 Wimbledon finals.
Right.
You know, and lost every one of them because he ran into a guy named Roger Federer. So, but that rule, there needs to be a fifth set tiebreak everywhere.
Will it happen?
I don't know. I think eventually it will. If
you think it's taking too long?
Yeah, I think they should have done it years ago. The U.S.
When it happened with Isner and Mahout?
Before that, probably. I mean, they don't need...
What's it going to take for them to really say, like, all right, we need to do this. We need to get rid of it.
They're going to have to keep having matches like that, where players are tired at last 2 days. It's just...
it's not just, like, I don't think it's good for anybody. It's not good for the fans, the players.
And Wimbledon,
who's it good for?
Nobody. It's not good for anyone.
It's because they want to be old school and they want to keep it the way it is.
Exactly.
They need to
adapt. In the semifinals, when Isner faced Anderson, somebody yelled, like, yo, hurry up. I want Rafa. Like, somebody from the stands. They're like, we want to watch Rafa. Yeah. Right? So it's obviously not good for Isner or Anderson. Anderson looked winded the next day, or whatever it was, 2 days later when he played the final. Yeah. Then you have Novak and Rafa going on late as hell.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even get to watch. I worked the next day. I couldn't watch Rafa and Novak. Yeah.
They start the match, and then they have to resume it the next day, and then they got the final the day after that. So it's not good for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't help anybody. It just make it a fifth set tiebreak, and it's.
What do they have to go through?
Nobody has ever complained about it at the U.S. Open. Right. Nobody has ever complained about it at all the other tournaments when there's a third set tiebreak.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Just make it happen. It's not.
It's literally not good for, because you're going to lose viewers that way too. Even
Absolutely.
like maybe even religious tennis fans. I don't know about that, but it's driving the casual fan away. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
I talk to my friends who don't even really watch tennis, and I tell them about it. We're sitting there at the bar. It's on the next day. I'm like, yeah, this went to this was hours. It was like 7 hours. They're like, yeah, I would never watch that in my life. Like you're driving away fans like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just make it a fifth set tiebreak. It's easy.
Yeah, it's
an easy decision. I don't get it.
So what needs to happen in tennis to draw more casual fans? What do you believe? Obviously, the what we just talked about, but anything else that needs to happen?
That's tough to say. I think it's difficult for people to get into it because they don't know a lot about it.
It's a hard sport to really catch on to the rules. Like a lot of people I talk to are like, what is 15 love? Like what's that?
And then it goes up to 6, and then you stop and you start again. You know?
You have to look at different things.
And there's a game, and then there's a set, and then there's a match, and it's just it's confusing for people. Yeah. So I think people kind of have to be on board with the scoring. And another thing about tennis is that it feels like a rich person sport. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's hard to draw casual fans because it feels like a rich person sport.
Yeah, it's an elitist sport.
Yeah, people think it's elitist. I mean, you can buy a racket for $25
and just go to the court and buy a couple tennis balls
for $4. Yeah, and you go play. It's one of the cheaper sports.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really want to be a good player, though, it's expensive. Would you say?
You're right. Well, every sport's expensive.
Yeah, at some point, you know what, man? When I started playing hockey, it was
hockey's expensive.
Yeah.
Football's expensive.
But I mean, it's not just that. I mean, even if you just want to get a racket and ball, if you really want to start really playing, whether it's like in tournaments or whatever, that's where it starts to get a little expensive.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But even football is expensive. You got to buy the cleats, you got to buy the pads, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The hockey, rink time, all that stuff. Yeah. But
you
tennis just has
travel teams, no matter what, you know.
Baseball's an expensive sport too. Everything you got to buy. I mean, it's just. I don't know, man. I mean, I think it just has that stigma that it's really expensive. It's all the you watch a movie and it's all the the freaking Mr. Deeds. They're playing tennis
at the country.
They have all the polo on, the Lacoste, the Ralph Lauren, like
and you're right. And things like Wimbledon making you wear all white and fining you if there's anything but white in your uniform. That adds to it. I feel like they just banned Serena's catsuit French Open. So stuff like that adds to that stigma. Do you know what I mean? Where people feel like it's elitist because of things like that, like why do you have to wear all white? It's just people feel like that. And it makes sense, for people to feel like that.
It just has that outlook.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, I was in tennis camp when I was like 10. Mm-hmm. At the YMCA, like, I mean, there were people play tennis, man. It's just a matter of if you want to really get better, you got to spend the money.
Right.
But that's like you said, it's any sport. I mean,
it is.
Hey,
it really is.
You know what I mean? Pete Sampras came from a middle class family. Why not?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the coaches should start lower their price a little over an hour instead of $100 an hour, just like $50 an hour. I don't know. I'm just hypotheticals, right?
Yeah, hypotheticals.
But so you're saying Nadal is the favorite on the men's side?
To me, yeah. Obviously Novak's number 2.
Any up and coming players to look out for?
Watch out for Sasha, man. I mean, there's a lot of
anybody that's not players. Like seated high. That's an up and coming. It's like
I like Frankie Tiafoe.
What about the Greek?
Tsitsipas. Yeah, he's a good player.
Faced Nadal in the Rogers Cup.
Yeah. He's got potential Borna Coric in the 3rd. That could be tricky. Mm-hmm. Borna Coric is another good young player. Mm-hmm. I think he goes Delpo in the 4th if he wins out that far. And then Dimitrov, Wawrinka, Raonic in the quarters. But that's not an awful draw. Mm-hmm. I don't see him getting past Delpo. But
yeah, me neither.
Maybe not even Borna Coric. Borna Coric is a great player too. Another young guy. That's going to be a barn burner. If them two meet in the 3rd round, that'll be a lot of fun, I think.
Okay.
So watch out for that one. But Karen's a good player. He's probably got Rafa in the 3rd, which is a tough draw for him. Coric is good, Croatian. Frankie Tiafoe is a good player. He's from America. Taylor Fritz is a good player. American.
I have seen Taylor Fritz play. He's a good player.
Yeah. Tiafoe's got kind of a tough draw. He probably has Cilic in the 3rd if he gets there. He's got to beat a seed in the 1st round. But it's just kind of a journeyman guy.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a winnable match in the 2nd round. Maybe Taro Daniel. That kid Alex de Minaur is who Tiafoe could play in the 2nd round. And de Minaur is a good player too. Good young player. And then potentially Cilic in the 3rd.
Yeah.
Goffin in the 4th. That's winnable. Cilic is going to be the trouble there, I think, for Tiafoe. But there's a lot of good young talent. And you think about, there's been a lot of good young talent before, but these 3-4 guys have been so dominant. Mm-hmm. So you never really know when somebody's going to jump out and take that leap.
Yeah, that's what's so fun. That's why it's so interesting to watch.
So fun. I mean, it was years ago when people thought Fed and Rafa were on the downhill, and you got guys like Dimitrov, Nishikori, Raonic coming up. Like, this is going to be the next generation.
Yeah.
And it's not, because Rafa and Fed and Novak keep winning. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I would love for tennis to sell these Grand Slams as like NCAA basketball tournaments. They need to market it that way for you to want to really watch and be like, an upset can happen.
Like do a bracket, yeah.
Why not? This sports betting is becoming legal, right? I mean, why not? I mean, the only thing about it, it's a very long bracket. Well, it's not like the NCAA where 64 teams.
It's double that, yeah. So
why not? All right, why not shorten it then?
Because there's too many people that deserve to be in this. There's more than 64 people that deserve to be in it. In the majors, so I don't think they'll shorten it. And I kind of like it the way it is. It makes for a nice, fun 2 weeks.
Or you could have like you could have a U.S. Open, and you could have a an NIT tournament or something. You know what I mean?
NIT.
Yeah, have like I don't know. Why not? Maybe draw more viewers, right? I don't know. I'm just saying for the casual fan. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm playing devil's advocate for someone that doesn't really watch. Saying just hypothetical for someone that doesn't watch tennis. Oh, what's going to draw me into it? You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah, you play it up more. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, for ratings' sake, right? More people are going to watch Nadal and Federer because of the rivalry over Kevin Anderson and Djokovic.
Sure.
Not to knock the match. Religious fans like me and you are going to watch it for the heck of it because we just like to watch tennis.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, 2 more questions before we get to Phillies and Eagles.
You got it.
I just got it real quick. Murray and Kyrgios, where do you see them two going? Both Brits.
Kyrgios is not a Brit.
It's a Brit.
I told you that before.
He's Australian, whatever. Anyway.
Kyrgios, 3rd round. He's got Roger in the 3rd. And that's winnable.
Yeah.
Because Roger, to me, is not at the top of his game right now.
And he's beating him.
Kyrgios is beating him, yeah. So that's a winnable match. I don't see him winning. I don't think his head's in the right place yet. I think he's on the way. I love his game. I was talking to my buddy about this, and he's like, "Why do you like that guy? He's a jerk off." And he is.
But he has that. See, there's a guy that would bring the casual fan in because of his personality,
absolutely,
and his freaking, the way he plays. That would bring that. That's a guy they could market to where they'll bring, because he's a young guy, he's flashy, kind of like
freak athlete. I mean,
yeah,
the dude's unreal.
Exactly,
and he's got power. He's fast. He can play with finesse a little bit. He's a really good player, and he has top 10, top 5 potential. He has major winning potential.
Right.
But he can't put it together, which is, that happens to people.
Right.
So
you think he will put it together one day, though?
I hope so. I'd love to see that guy winning majors. I mean,
I told you that's one of my favorites. I know he's one of your favorites too.
I love watching him play. He's so much fun, man.
Yeah.
So I would like to, but for now, he's got to figure his own shit out, and I don't see him getting past Fed.
Yeah.
In the 3rd, and it's the same thing with Murray. Murray's got.
Injuries are a problem.
Sure.
He knows he can play.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. He's got some injury issues, obviously the hip and all that, but he's another one with a tough 3rd round draw. He's got Delpo in the 3rd. If he wins, he's got Duckworth, I think, in the 1st, and then a winnable 2nd, tricky 2nd, I guess. He's got Lopez or Verdasco. Mm-hmm. That could be tricky. Both of them, Spanish guys, they're always tough, the Spanish guys. Verdasco especially is a tough out. But they're both winnable matches, and then he plays Delpo in the 3rd. I don't see him beating Delpo. I don't think he's there yet. I think he's just as talented, if not more talented, than Del Potro. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's there yet. He's not back, he's not all the way healthy yet. And I think Delpo beats him in the 3rd.
Okay. So you got Nadal and Serena as the potential champs.
Those are my picks, yeah.
Okay.
Really, really boring picks.
No, it's okay.
But I really think that's who's going to win. So.
Okay. Real quick before I let you go, I want to talk Phil's. I know you're pissed off. I'm pissed off too because of the loss yesterday. But where do you see them finishing at the end of the year?
3rd in the division.
Really?
Yeah.
Behind the Nats?
I still think the Nats are going to come up
and get in the playoffs.
I don't know, but they're gonna. They got a push left in them. They're too talented to play 500 baseball.
As soon as
makes no sense.
Traded Murphy and Adams, they
gave up basically. So.
Yeah, but they beat the Phils in that series,
right?
Which the Phils that's
struggling.
The Phils are looking like they should have been looking at the beginning of the year. It's kind of reverse, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't like the Gabe Kapler hire. Never have. I know they're overachieving right now.
I was going to say, so you typical Philly fan, dude. Well,
yeah.
So you don't like
I don't like Kapler. I think he makes some ridiculous decisions.
Oh, I agree with you.
Relies far too much on analytics.
You can't be all analytics.
Exactly. And Charlie Manuel had this thing where he would give people at bats because they need experience for like when the time comes and you need him down the stretch. Like, why are you starting Greg Dobbs? And it's like, well, he needs at bats. He's not gonna be able to pinch hit if he doesn't, if he can't bat. So,
right.
And Kapler's doing that, I think, but
I just
too much. I think he's giving Scott Kingery way too many at bats.
Right, he's trying to show confidence in him, but
Scott Kingery should be in the minor leagues without question.
Yeah.
I don't know how you have J.P. Crawford in the minors and Scott Kingery up.
Yeah.
Not that Crawford's an all-star, but
Crawford's
a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
And Scott Kingery does not look like one right now, and it drives me nuts.
I think Ricky.
I hate that bullpen. I hate that bullpen.
They're up and
Tommy
down.
Hunter
Up
might
and
be
down.
the worst pitcher.
Oh, Tommy Hunter, Adam Morgan.
Adam Morgan
Nah.
should not play the game of baseball ever. He's awful.
Yeah, who I do like from the bullpen, Victor Arano, Sir Anthony.
Arano looks good sometimes.
Ramos is good.
Yeah.
Nishak is obviously in lock for great
Nishak's
reliever.
the best one on
Obviously.
the bullpen.
He should really be the closer at this point.
I think they're going to make him because Sir Anthony's been struggling so much. So
he gets a
pass.
Yeah,
he did earlier. In the year,
and he's young. I mean, the potential's there. He'll be there.
Yeah.
I just don't like how Franco will have five hot games and then Capra will sit him.
I don't get that.
I don't understand it. It doesn't.
To have Kingery in your lineup right now. Do you know what I mean? Like that infield, since it's coming down the stretch, you need to win ball games.
Right.
It should never be anything besides Cesar, Cabrera,
And
Franco, and that's it.
And I'd
you
start
can switch
Bohr
the
right
first
now.
baseman up. Yeah, I'd start.
Bohr is hurt right now though, and no one really saw that
Right.
coming. But he's hurt, so I mean, at least you have Santana.
They're basically the same player, low average right now.
They gave him too much money, man. Santana. I think they gave him too much money.
Well, here's the thing with him is he's never been like a 300 hitter. Do you know what I mean? So he's a guy with power off the bench. Obviously, his average is way lower now this year than it was last year and years past. Yeah. But he was never. If people were expecting this 300 hitter, it's going to.
I don't think anyone was. But for the money you're giving him, he'd be playing a little better.
Sure, but you had to take a shot. You couldn't just sit.
You're right.
Who's going to play first base? Reese Hoskins, and then who in the outfield? You have Aaron Altair.
Well, at the beginning of the year, hypothetically, Altair had a good year last year, so you were thinking, Hadouble, Williams, Altair, that's your outfield. Which is, if Altair is, hopefully Altair gets back to, he's in the minors. Hopefully, I haven't really heard much about him, which means maybe he hasn't been playing well in the minors either. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think in a way, you kind of lucked out with Santana because he's not playing that well, but he's still leading the team in walks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's still
Cesar,
playing adequate first base.
Right.
He's just not hitting. But every time I watch him, I feel like he hits the ball really hard, and it's just right at someone. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's,
that's baseball.
Right. It's not like he's, I don't know. I think he's playing better than people give him credit for, but you still need to see that average come up some. It doesn't have to be 300. You can get him to 240.
240. That's what I was hoping for. At least 240 or something. Real quick, who's your World Series pick? Like who faces each other?
The World Series, you have to go Boston right now, and I think they'll probably beat. I don't know, the Dodgers.
Maybe Chicago. Chicago's
could be the Cubs.
Though.
Cubs are playing really well. Cole Hamels is on fire right now. Could be the Cubs.
I mean, I know West is looking fun for the end of the year. The Rockies are there, Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Dodgers are playing good baseball. Yeah,
it's their bullpen though. Jansen's coming off an injury. He blew a couple saves. They won last night, but he blew a save again. It's gonna be fun though. The NL West. I mean, it'd be pretty funny though. I think if the Dodgers missed the playoffs, even though they got Manny Machado and Brian Dozier.
Hilarious. Yeah.
That would be. I would. And then Manny's ours, then that's 2019 is ours once we get Trout the next year.
I think you got to put Manny at shortstop if he comes here, though.
Oh, 100%. Kingery could stay in the minors or he'll come off the bench for a year, or just trade him. Just kidding. He gave him all that money.
You can't trade him right now.
You give him all that money. Well,
absolutely no value.
I'd say this. I'd say you keep Cesar for another year, but Kingery at some point you want to make him that second baseman. That's what they want to do.
Sure.
I think Cesar's ceiling isn't. I think it's just not that high.
He's fine. He's adequate.
He's okay. Yeah. He's a good player. I mean, he's not crazy. You know what I mean?
He's adequate for now. And he's had some good years here, so I think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit. But
yeah. Real quick, Eagles in the Super Bowl?
No.
No?
No, they don't.
Okay.
It's, and not, obviously I love the Eagles, but it's so hard to repeat.
Oh, in football?
The NFL.
Unless you're the Patriots, but they also cheated, so.
No, I mean, they only repeated once.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, though. Yeah. I mean, they were consistently, they were there,
right, they're consistently there.
It's even hard to do that.
Sure, yeah. But there's teams that are, like the Steelers are there every year, but, I mean, they've missed the playoffs, too.
Yeah.
I don't think they repeat. I think it's really, really hard to repeat. And
So you'd say just enjoy being defending champs until
until February. Rub it in everyone's face.
Yes. As much as you can, dude. As much as you can.
Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
Joe Jarovicius ain't running no more. I'll tell you that.
All right, Joe. Thank you for coming on, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.
U.S. Open. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the podcast. All right. Thanks, bud. Okay.